Welcome everyone to our ChimeraFit for Hypermobility class. Today's going to be a full body workout with a little bit of extra attention to those movements that everyone consistently tells me that they love, the things that feel good in our body. And even for hypermobile people, a lot of times there's certain mobility type movements, especially of our spine, that when we do them nice and controlled, they feel really good. So we'll make sure that we get some of those nice feel good spine movements in our movement practice today. For that, we'll use a foam roller for some of those things. So if you have a foam roller, you'll want to grab it. If you don't have a foam roller, you can take like a long towel, like a long bath towel, beach towel, roll it up, and that will work just as well for pretty much most of it. And then other than that, we'll also use a loop band. We'll use a Pilates ball, and then some free weights if you're ready for any added resistance with a little bit of overhead work. And then once you've gathered all of your things, we'll be ready to begin. We're actually going to start today checking in with some of our deep core muscles on the mat, so you can just head down to the floor and lay down on your back. Once we're here, we're just going to take a moment. You can even close your eyes, check in with your breath. Just giving yourself a moment to ease any stress from the day or any extra muscle tension that we don't need. Maybe allowing your shoulders to relax into the floor, allowing your belly to expand so we get some nice diaphragmatic breaths. If we can come to our movement practice from a place of calm and safety in our nervous system, we'll be more likely to be successful. And just a few more breaths here on your own, just letting yourself kind of sink into the mat a little bit, allowing the ribs, pelvis to soften. And then on your next inhale, we're going to keep that nice heaviness of your tailbone, your ribs on the floor, and allow the arms to float up just about shoulder level. So the fingers reach straight up toward the sky. I'm going to find a little bit of a nod, chin slightly down toward your chest. And then reach the arms up a little further. Inhale as you reach up, seeing if we can reach the arms up without letting your back arch or letting your ribs come off of the floor. So we're just going from fingers right over the shoulders. Inhale, extending. Notice the abdominal muscles starting to wake up a little bit as we reach up overhead, and then exhale to come back. We don't have to quite reach the floor. The goal is to initiate the movement from your shoulder blades and move slow, like the air is super duper thick. Exhale as we bring the arms back down. And two more, just nice and slow, like way slower than you think you might normally do this kind of movement, so you can really notice what's happening in your shoulder blades and in your back. One more time, if we notice these arm movements are all starting from your back, and then let them come back down, letting the arms rest down by your side. We're going to widen the collarbones, take a full breath in, let your ribs expand in all directions. And then on your exhale, we're going to find a little contraction of the deeper abs, so the deep abdominal muscles pull gently in toward your spine as we float the left knee up. A little bit of a marching movement. So we've got the left knee up. We're going to find that connection between the ribs and the pelvis. Slowly let that side down without letting your back move, letting your pelvis change its position. And then we'll switch sides, anchor that left knee, foot down to the ground, let the right knee float up. Pelvis stays level. We can even go hands on pelvis to check in with that slow motion, lowering that side back down. Inhale as we come up. Give just the tiniest little activity of the deeper abs, gently pulling in, but not so much that you can't breathe. And right knee comes up, inhale. And slowly bring it back down. Let's try one more time on each side, seeing can we get the knee to move without your neck muscles getting overly excited and moving, without your shoulders tensing, just kind of checking in, getting some connection to those deeper abdominal muscles before we move on. Perfect. Once we're back down to the floor, we're going to let the feet anchor down to the floor, bring the arms back up again overhead. Now this time, same heaviness of the rib cage, and then we're going to windmill the arms by reaching right arm overhead, left arm down by your hip. So we're not quite touching the floor, just hovering the arms. We'll circle the arms around, so left arm is up overhead, right arm is down by your feet, and then bring everything back up. Again, right arm reaches up. We'll windmill the arms around, just hovering over the ground, and then bring them back up through the center. Inhale, and circle the arms around. Seeing if you can recreate the same circle with your arms each time. One more time, leading with the right arm. We'll swivel things around, bring it back to the center, and then reverse. So we'll go left arm up, right arm down. Swivel the arms around, and then back up to center we go. Left arm up, right arm down. Circle, see if you can keep the weight even on the center of your rib cage, and 2 more times. Inhale, we'll reach up. Exhale, swivel them around, and then back up to center. 1 more time, we'll hover, swivel, nice, and then back up to the middle we go. Nice, we're gonna let the arms rest all the way down by your side, and then if you've got a Pilates ball, we're going to grab that and bring it between the knees. So we get a little bit of inner thigh work here. So we're going to, a pillow will work just as well as if you don't have a ball or just even knees close together. Totally okay. I'm going to anchor the ball between the knees, moving into the 100. So we're going to, 2 options. You can either leave your feet down, or if you'd like to advance it a little bit, we can go knees up over hips. We'll take a breath in. And on your exhale, a little bit of a nod and a slight crunch as we pulse the arms down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, last one. You can do a hand behind the head if the neck gets fatigued, or leave your head all the way down at any point. Good, we'll rest, feet come down, head comes down to the ground, arms to the side, and then just an easy twist side to side. Both knees are going to drop to the right about halfway. Slowly come back to the center. And then both knees a little reach to the left. Continue with feet down, or option to come up to a windshield wiper position so that the knees are up in a tabletop. Inhale. Exhale, bring it back to center. Shoulders anchored down on the ground. Just getting some nice rotation in our spine, but without quite flopping and just collapsing into the floor. 1 more time each way. Come back through the center. Nice. We'll let feet down. You can leave the ball off to the side. And then if we've got your loop band, this is your chance for grab that. I'm going to bring that just above the knees. Feet about hip width apart. We're going to move into some bridging. So feet a little closer to your hips than you think. Sometimes we have them too far away, makes it a little more work than it needs to be. Take a full inhale, and then on your exhale, we're going to tip the tailbone up, peeling yourself up off the floor 1 vertebrae at a time. With a little bit of pressure against the band with the thighs. Take a breath at the top. Tailbone reaches out toward your calves, and then slowly roll it back down. So each vertebrae has a chance to move. If there's any discomfort at all, option 2, only do the knee push against the band, or to just lift up partially, by the way. So we're going to curl yourself back up. As you lift your chest up higher toward your chest, you want to give a little bit of a chin lift here so that we have lots of space for your neck. Take a full breath at the top, and then slowly and with control, bring it back down. You can relax the knees in between. Take an inhale. Exhale, press out against the band. Heels are heavy. Scoop the tail, and up we go. Now, option 2, bring your arms back up overhead. If you want to add a little more challenge to this, let your back body do a little bit more work. Otherwise, continue using the help from the hands, and slowly take it 1 little segment at a time on the way down. Inhale. Make sure we're breathing. Little press. Heels heavy. And we come up. It's almost like your tailbone's reaching out as far away from your ribs as you can get it, so that we get a little squeeze in your glutes right where your butt meets the back of your thigh. Otherwise, our back muscles tend to take over with that. So let the glutes help, and then slow Slow, bring it on down. Once we're on the ground, we can bring the knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug, maybe even a little bit of a massage, side to side, if that feels good. And then once we come back to the center, we're going to come up to sit. Either rock yourself up to sit or lift up to sit. We're going to come around to a hands and knees position. And this is where we're going to bring your foam roller into play here. So we're going to find a hands and knees position, but on your foam roller. So we're going to, nice neutral spine to begin. So we've got shoulders right up over the wrists. And then we're going to go into a little bit of a cat-cow. So just letting your back extend as you look up gently toward the sky, and then exhale to round. So allowing one vertebrae to move at a time. Inhale, and then exhale as we round. At the very end, you're going to give a little bit of a push into the foam roller so that the shoulder blades widen just a smidge there at the end. So inhale to extend. Exhale to round. Option to leave your neck out of it completely, by the way, if your neck is not liking that amount of movement. And then on the next one, we're going to get the upper body involved a bit by sliding and rolling the foam roller forward. If you have a towel, you can just continue with what you're doing. But if you've got the roller, we're going to roll on your forearms to reach forward. Arms are going to press a bit into the foam roller as we inhale, and then exhale around each vertebrae at a time to come up. So as you're putting a little bit of effort, it's kind of like you're rolling out pizza dough. So you're putting a little bit of engagement of your shoulders and your lats, this upper mid part of the back here, and roll back up. One more time, reaching away, just going maybe 75% of your range. We don't have to go way into that hypermobile range. In fact, we're going to rein that in a little bit. Once we come back up to the top, we're going to pause here for a moment and then thread the needle. So we're going to reach the left arm up toward the sky, adding a little rotation, and then reaching the left arm under the right as we twist. So inhale to reach up. If for some reason you don't like hand on your foam roller, you can bring it back down to the floor. Exhale, reach through. Inhale, getting some nice rotation through the spine. Keeping some length in the whole upper body. One more time this direction. Inhale and exhale to reach through like the air is thick. Noticing all those little muscles helping you out as we then switch sides. So right arm will reach up and then exhale, reach through. You may want to think about the tiniest micro bend of your left elbow if you have a tendency for elbow hyperextension. So keeping maybe a little bit of a bend in it at first until eventually we can control that in a more neutral position. As we reach down, we're going to hover over the ground without collapsing into the floor. One more time each way. Exhale, reaching nice and through. Perfect. Once we come back down, we're going to push the foam roller out of the way for now, and then back to the hands and knees just for one more thing here. We'll find a nice strong position, toes under, and hips lift up to a down dog. I'm going to keep knees bent so that the tailbone reaches way up to the sky. Give the shoulder blades a little push, and then maybe press one heel at a time. Walk out your dog. Giving the calves a little bit of a stretch. In an active sort of way, we're going to keep the weight even between both hands. Pause with both heels reaching to the floor, and then walking forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to here to keep your body comfortable. All 10 toes and heels anchored on the floor. Full lift with the back body. Slowly bring yourself up to stand. Inhale, we're going to reach up. A little bit of a back bend. Exhale, hands to prayer. Good. We can rest the arms. Give them a little shake. And then we're going to find your band again. Maybe take a little sip of water if you need to hydrate. And then we're going to do some squats. Option to use a chair. So I've got my plyo box here. So however you would like to squat, you can bring the chair up height a little bit higher if you'd like to. some cushions. We can do body weight if anyone's ready to add some weights to this. Make it a goblet squat, holding on to some weights. Feel free to grab weight. Do what's the right intensity for you today. We're going to do feet about hip width apart. We have the band just over the knees. And then we've got your chair right behind you, hands in a comfortable spot. We're going to slowly take 3 seconds to come down to sit. Hips and knees bend together at the same time to come down. 1, 2, 3. Either full sit and rest or just tap and then up for 1, 2, 3. We'll take it nice and slow. Knees over second, third toe. 2, 3. Squat and then up we go. 1, 2, and 3. Stand up. Without locking our knees, we're going to pause at that little micro bend and then down. 1, 3. Nice. And then up. 3. We're going to do a few more reps, but feel free to tap out if you felt like a couple was enough for today. Just do the number that feels right to you without overdoing it. 3, and maybe 2 more. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 seconds on the way up. We got it. One more time. 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Once we're standing, we're going to keep the band exactly where it's at. And then with a little bit of a micro bend of the knees, small side step. So arms either to the side or by the front of your body, 10 toes forward. We take a little step, pelvis relatively level, and then come together. We're going to take a step and then slowly bring your feet back. Step, that's kind of the harder part of it is when we come back, try not to let the band yank you back into place. We'll step, pelvis stays nice and level. Just getting a little bit of work here for the outer part of the hips. Step and in, nice, and out, back in, out. If you want more of a challenge, you can sit almost into a little bit of a squat with this. So imagine like the ceiling getting lower, or again, if that's any issue with the knee, we can stand a little taller. Perfect. And then once we come back to about the middle of the mat, we'll pause, give your legs a little shake and a rest. Take a breath, give the shoulders a couple circles. And then we're going to move into a little bit of upper body work just by bringing hands to shoulders, little soft micro bend in the knee, and just give your arms a nice reach up overhead. Shoulders are going to shrug just a little bit at the top. Make yourself really long and then bring the hands back down. So an overhead press but with no weight. So we're thinking about lifting from your shoulders, from the shoulder blades rather, and then back down we go, just testing the waters here. See how your shoulders are feeling today. One more time, reaching up, starting the movement with your feet. Exhale, bringing the hands down. And then if you're going to continue with just the weight of your arms, fine. Or if you'd like to add some free weights to it, go ahead and grab the weights that you'd like to use for this today. We've got everything else neutral, head over your shoulders, feet into the ground, feet, you know what I meant, right? Bad grammar there. Reach up, inhale, exhale to return. Nice. We're going to reach up. Maybe noticing how with this simple movement, we do actually get a lot of core abdominal muscles kicking in to stabilize ourselves. Our deeper spine muscles, your multifidus, those tiny little guys are doing a bit of work there. And exhale to come up. Inhale to come down. Palms are facing me. That gives you a little more space in your shoulder joint. And back down one more time. Let the shoulders shrug slightly at the end and then take it nice and slow and controlled on the way down. Perfect job. We're going to let the weights down. Take a little breather. Give your arms a little rest. In fact, we'll make a little wave with your wrists. Interlace your fingers. Wave them around. Just get some synovial fluid into all those little nooks and crannies between all of the joints. Wave them the other way. Take a breath, and then we're going to repeat a second round of squat here. So find your version of squat that's working for you today, either to the chair or to full body weight squat. We got the band right where we left it. Slow motion. We're going to go down and sit. 3 seconds down. 1, 2, 3 seconds up. These are looking great. Slowly coming down. And slowly coming up. And again, we can notice really a lot of good work happening here in our back stabilizers. 3. Keeping our big toes glued to the ground. And squat down. 1, 2, 3. And up. 3. Nice. And up. 2, 3. Just a couple more. Here we go. and up. And last 2, 2, 3, and up, 2, 3. So by going slow, we're increasing time under tension. That's the concept there. Kind of gets more of your stabilizing muscles working too. And then up we go. We'll come back up. And then you can kick the band off, leave it off to the side. We'll do a second round of the overhead reach, either with or without your weights. Take what's working for you. So a little soft micro bend in the knees, hands in your preferred position, starting the movement with your feet. So we reach to the sky and back down. 1. Exhale through the effort. 2. At the very top, we have just a little bit of a shoulder blade squeeze. 3, so the shoulders come up toward the ears. If this is new, just do a few reps, see how you do. We can always add more later. But actually, this is a really great stability exercise for our neck and our shoulders. And straight up to the sky we go. And down one more time. Up and back to shoulders. Beautiful. We can set the weight down. And then I'm going to move my little chair out of the way. And let's head back down to the floor. This time we're going to lay on belly. Option to put like a pillow under your belly or under your chest if you need some support, if your back is not cooperating with laying totally on your stomach. And then we're going to rest the forehead on the back of the hands. So take a moment, check in with your breath, crocodile breath here. So you can use the feedback from the floor to have some awareness of what's happening with your breath. And then keeping a little bit of a nod, tucking the chin down slightly. I'm going to use this upper back to lift the head up away from your hands, about 2 inches. Pause and hold there, just getting the muscles in the back of the neck a bit active, and then let the head back down. And again, just a little lift. Pause and hold here. And let it come back. One more time, we'll lift up, and an option to bring the arms out to the side in a W shape. So elbows here by your side. A little bit of a lift, the shoulder blades come closer together. Nod, and then let yourself come back down, forehead resting on hands. 2 full rounds of breath, complete rest in between. Little nod, chin slightly down, lift the back of the head, lift the arms up, shoulder blades come closer together into a W shape with the arms. Pause and hold, 2 full rounds of breath there. Elbows don't have to be lifted too high. And then back down. Resting the forehead on the floor. Let everything go in between. Take a few breaths, and then just one more time. And a nod. Tops of the feet press down. Lift the upper back. Give the shoulder blades a little squeeze. Pause and hold here. Option to reach the arms overhead and float the heels up into a little bit of a Superman. Otherwise, stick with what we had. 2 rounds of breath. You don't have to lift too high. It's more like making yourself really long. And then we'll come back down, letting your forehead rest on the floor. We're going to then lift up to hands and knees, toes together, and then sit back on the heels into a child's pose. Let your ribs expand in all directions. And add a little side bend, reaching your hands to the right. And over to the left. Let your ribs expand to the sides. We'll come back to the middle and then find your foam roller one more time. So we're going to bring your back on, or your towel roll will work just as well. Hands behind the head, feet about hip width apart. And then with the foam roller at about bra line area, supporting the head, we're going to just gently extend the upper back as you inhale, and then exhale as we come up. Inhale to extend, and exhale to come back. Without forcing it, going a little bit less than you think you need to at first. Even for those of us with hypermobility, this thoracic spine, rib cage area is a spot that tends to get a little bit of restriction and limited movements. This can be a really great way to even things out so we get some even movement through the whole spine. Good. And then if you have a foam roller, we'll lift the hips up and give yourself a little bit of massage, rolling up and down along the back. And if you just have a towel, you can just continue with the extensions. Maybe find a slightly different spot to work from. And then once you've had enough of that, we'll let yourself back down to the ground. You can push the foam roller out of the way. We're going to roll all the way back down to the floor and then find a happy baby. So we're going to bring knees to chest, grabbing onto the outer part of the feet or at index finger at big toe. And keep it a little bit active, so the point of contact with your hand, the feet are giving a little bit of energy into the feet. So we're not just like yanking on your hips. We have just some lengthening in those hips, but also a little bit of muscle activity. And then add any little extra movements you feel like your body needs. If it needs like a little bit of a sway side to side, or maybe a little bit of knee extending, maybe some toe wiggles. Have a little fun with it. You're in the comfort of your own home. No one cares. Just do what feels good that you can control without just flopping into your hypermobile range. Allow your belly to expand in your happy baby. Get some nice diaphragmatic breaths. And then when you're ready to take a break from that, we're just going to allow your legs to extend along the mat for Shavasana. Palms up to the sky, eyes closed, and we'll go through a little guided relaxation. Feel free to grab a different position if this doesn't work for you, by the way. Any position you're comfortable in is fine. And then on your next exhale, we're going to tense one more time all the muscles in the feet, the calves, the thighs, the glutes. Give them one last big squeeze, 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 and then take a little break. And then we're going to tense the muscles in the hands, the forearms, the upper arms. Give it a big squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then let it rest. And then last, we're going to squeeze the muscles in the face, pucker the lips, tense the jaw just a little bit, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then let it completely go. We'll start to bring your attention back to your breath. It's watching the rhythmic movement of your belly, of your chest, with each inhale and each exhale. And if your mind is feeling especially busy today, you can add a count to your breathing so that as you inhale, we count 1, exhale is 2, inhale is 3, exhale is 4, all the way to 10, and then repeat. And then keeping that nice, soft and relaxed feeling with you as you bring a little bit of movement back to the toes and the fingers. And we'll turn to your side. You can pause here. And then when you're ready, come on back up. Finish by reaching up to the sky with an inhale. Exhale, we'll bring your hands back to prayer. Take just a moment, closing your eyes. Give yourself a moment of gratitude for taking this time for yourself today and for all the movements that you were able to do. Namaste. All right, great. So good to see you. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you again next time.